This whole operation ain't nothing but a moneymaker. What's up, guys? This is Gary coming back to you here with another CNC fiber laser installation. This time we are back in the state of North Carolina at Tri-City Laser, installing a 12,000 watt 5x10 enclosed exchange table CNC fiber laser machine. So this is my fourth trip over to Tri-City Laser in the last 2 years, and the third machine, and we're actually working on a fourth machine right now. So who knows? Probably be back there sooner than later. But every time I've delivered a machine there, the star of the show is the man right there that you can see. That is Ronald Hutchins. The man is in his 70s and still getting after it. A local rigging company. They do a lot of plants and facilities around the area, and very fortunate to have Ronald on site. And man, he had a solid plan for getting this done. Brought over his 48 foot or 53 foot flatbed semi, backed it right up to the container, and then used a forklift, just a basic kind of a rigging or warehouse forklift to get everything drug out. And then he also brought his, I believe it's a 30-ton crane, and was able to set it off of that down onto the ground, and then using dollies and casters and things, getting everything into place exactly where it needed to be, leveling feet installed, the machine leveled and ready for us to take over and do the install. So love showing all the rigging. I know a lot of guys, maybe preparing for the machine like this. Maybe you're getting it from me. Maybe you're getting it from a competitor. Maybe some of these things will kind of help give you different ideas of the way machines can be unloaded. Obviously, it's great if you have two big forklifts and you can forklift it into place. But as you'll see, the facilities here at Tri-City Laser are a little tight. A lot of you guys have tight facilities as well, so you can't really forklift a big machine all the way into position. So getting it off and unloaded outside, and then maneuvering it into place with dollies and hand pushing and that kind of thing is a great way to go. So the smaller items they were able to grab with just a forklift, and but the larger items, like this is the chiller that you see here, had to get it with the crane. And then next up you're going to see them dragging the entire laser machine out of the container. And this unit right here is the main chassis of the laser, and then it has the exchange table stacked on top of it. The total weight for that right there, it was about 9,800 pounds. And then up next you'll see the exchange table lifted off the top and flying it over with the crane. And then get that down on the ground, and then get the main chassis around and down on the ground. And it had to go in first. Actually, backing up, we actually had to get the chiller, the cabinet, the transformer, all that against the wall, and then the main chassis could go in next.
Starts like that and goes across my face, my ear, and goes down my arm. I mean, I feel fine, so I wasn't even worried about it. It was just my mouth. I lived. When it ran down my arm, I went up to the hospital.
All right, so you see the main chassis getting pushed into place right here. We're fortunate to have several helpers to get it pushed around on the dollies. And then I kind of lost some footage. I didn't grab a lot of footage, but here you can start to see the main chassis getting put together. That's Chris you see right there. He was alongside on this one. Man, I just cannot say enough good things about Chris. I mean, he is an absolute machine when it comes to putting machines together, and then working through the little problems and issues that come up. You know, this machine here, we've installed one similar to it before. You see Chris again there. And, you know, they're just little quirks and issues with fit and finish and the fit up of certain components. And, you know, it requires some wedging and lifting and jacking and ratchet strapping to get the thing pulled into place. And even with that, sometimes there's extra stuff you have to do, like, I'm not going to say it out loud, but let's say self-tapping screws may be involved. While Chris and Robin and myself were putting the machine together, we had Travis Toms and his crew from the local electrical group, and you can see they were putting in a dedicated disconnect here, pulling some pretty large wire from the main panel. And you know, we had some challenges with the electrical, and you know, no big deal, just kind of worked our way through it. Kind of all of it got resolved by the second day, and then just kind of showing you a little look at the wiring involved in a machine like this. And when you uncoil it all, it can be pretty daunting. A lot of stuff that needs to get connected. But once you kind of sort through it and kind of figure out the various things involved, it's really not too bad. Kind of take it one step at a time. So Robin, you know, from Tri-City Laser, awesome dude. You'll see him throughout the video. He's been running the original 3 kilowatt Prima laser that I installed. You see it in the background over there. Can't say enough good things about him. Awesome guy, and very impressed with what he's done with the Prima laser in the time since it's been installed. So this machine is running NC Studio instead of the normal system that I'm used to installing and that you're used to seeing in my videos. If you already have a laser, you know SIP cut or hype cut on some of the machines is what you're used to seeing. So a little bit different. It's got a pretty cool routine here where you can get it to automatically oil the ways and move the machine around, you know, the gantry around the entire machine to spread the oil, you know, on all of the linear bearings. So that's what this routine is right here. And I was just experimenting with it, with the oiling interval and how far, you know, the machine is moving and how fast the machine is moving. So, you know, probably a pretty good thing to do when you start up the machine every day. Certainly if you got, you know, a full day of production cutting, you would want to do something like this. Of course, the oilers are on a timer, and they do, you know, put down oil on an interval throughout the day, but, you know, this is a good routine as well.
The welding cables if you want. He did get the DXF dumps on those, didn't he?
I think so.
Yep.
Okay.
That was 1/2 inch plate. Here's some thin sheet metal. I think it was 14 gauge. And you'll see we had a couple little problems getting started here with some alarms and things. And then when we did get it cutting, it was not cutting right. And we were sort of able to get it diagnosed as a drawing issue. So one of the things that can be commonly the case is, you know, new system, the import routine for the DXF, you know, could be a little bit different. And so it turned out to be an issue related to Corel draw importing into this version of the software. So this part we were trying to cut was actually a customer production part that they cut on a regular basis. And I believe it's 14 gauge stainless. And I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And you can see it's doing sort of a version of a fly cut here. And at the same time, while we were cutting it on this one, we were doing one sheet here on the old Prima laser. And I'm going to cut away to it here in a second. You'll see both machines cutting the same part at the same time, side by side. The summary is that the Prima would take about 4 minutes and the new machine will cut the same part in about 1 minute and 20 seconds for the same part.
About the same time.
This is a pretty cool look at the Prima that I installed 2 years ago, 3 kilowatt, and the shop made enclosure that they made for it for fume extraction. Worked out well. And speaking of that machine, here's a little rewind to the very first time we fired up the 3 kilowatt back in 2021. And just want to mention that I really appreciate Gary Fowler trusting in me, and you'll see Gary right here in a second. His reaction to his very first 3 kilowatt fiber laser back a couple of years ago was pretty priceless. You can just see here, after seeing the results, all he could do was just shake his head. And we'll hear a little bit more from Gary in the video a little later. On the 12 kilowatt, we did not get a lot of thick plate footage when I was there. The wheat kind of got away from us, troubleshooting a few things here and there. But here's video I got from the factory back in February before it shipped, and just showing you a few test cuts that they were doing there to debug the machine and get it all ready to go. So the one thing I wanted to mention here about observations I've made from customers that are very successful, like Gary and his crew there. So Gary has figured out that the secret to success beyond a certain point is surrounding yourself with the best people you can. And that's not just the employees, which he's got great people working for him, but also the vendors, the suppliers, So I've kind of become quite familiar with the electrician there and the rigger, same guys every time. And the thing I've noticed is Gary does not nickel and dime them. He does not put every job out for bid. He knows what he's getting. And the same thing with me. He's not trying to get me to bid things. He's not trying to beat me down on the price. He knows I'm going to give him a competitive price in the marketplace for the services that I offer. And he is very much appreciative of that. I've noticed a lot of guys that, maybe are still up and coming. They still are sort of in this small-minded, frame of mind where they, try to find the absolute dirt cheapest price they can on everything. And at some point, you have to transition out of that. If you want your business to grow, you really have to realize that the people that are providing services to you are an extension of your company. They're there when you need them, not there when you don't need them. And so that's where the focus should be. So anyway, just kind of wrapping up the footage here on the 12 kilowatt, cutting some thicker plate, and going to transition you into a comment that Gary mentioned the last time I was there installing the press brake back in 2022. So Gary, you've had the laser about 15 months. And what would you say about the experience overall?
You're the best decision I ever made having you come install this thing. It's worth whatever you charge me, which probably wasn't enough.
Oh, well, I could send you an invoice.
Go ahead. No, I'll buy more equipment from you, just like we just did here.
So we just got, as you saw, we're kind of wrapping up this video.